As football fans, we all know how much one signing can change. It could change the trajectory of a club, a league, sometimes even football history as a whole. And we've seen this in the past with the likes of Ronaldo to Madrid, Ronaldinho to Barcelona, Lewandowski to Bayern. These were era-defining moves. But on the flip side of this, sometimes a transfer can be so damn bad, so unbelievably stupid, that you genuinely start questioning whether the people running the club are okay. Like, were they drunk? Was it a dare? Did they just go off of Twitter comps? Today I'm going to be going over signings that I've seen that weren't just bad, but they were some of the worst in football history. First up is Eden Hazard to Real Madrid, and this one genuinely hurts, because as a Chelsea fan growing up, this guy was my idol for most of my childhood. And after giving us one of the best seasons he ever had in the 2018-19 season, he went off to Real Madrid for £100 million. And Madrid thought they were going to get a generational player, another Galactico. But as we all know, this is not at all what happened. Straight away, he was injured in his first ever preseason, and then it never stopped from there. He was spending more time with the medical staff than he was with his teammates. And at the end of it all, he had totaled 7 goals. Yes, 7 goals in 4 seasons. And for someone like Hazard, this was just unreal. They had given him the number 7 shirt. He was supposed to be Cristiano Ronaldo's successor, a Ballon d'Or winner. Instead, Real Madrid got a washed up superstar. A superstar who had lost his confidence, lost his explosiveness, and lost the desire to play the game at the highest level. And for this, I'm blaming one man and one man only, Thomas Meunier. I don't care if you think it was Hazard's fault, I don't even care if you think it was Real Madrid's fault. Thomas Meunier single-handedly ruined Hazard's career, and I will stand by that to the day I die. It was one of Hazard's first ever Champions League games for Madrid, and he was absolutely cooking PSG this game. We were watching the Eden Hazard we know and love. He was dribbling past players, he was creating the chances, and suddenly, he has the ball in the left wing, and Thomas Meunier, who is also his international teammate by the way, decides to put in the most disgusting tackle on him. And this is the reason Hazard was never the same and failed for Madrid. Next up is one that never gets enough recognition. It's a swap deal that saw Alexis Sanchez going to Manchester United and Henrik Mkhitaryan to Arsenal. 2 clubs, 2 players, 2 absolute flops. These guys were both cheeks. It was like trading Bonnie Blue for Lily Phillip. But at the time, this was not the case. This move was being so hyped up. And looking back at it, there was genuinely no reason this move was getting the amount of glaze it was receiving. Sanchez went to United. Arsenal fans were sad. United fans were overridden with joy. The moment that video came out of him playing the piano at Old Trafford, United fans thought this guy was bringing them back to the top. Instead, they got a guy who looked like he was a construction worker playing Sunday League football on the side. And by the way, they were paying him $500k a week. Yes, $500k a week for 5 goals in his whole Manchester United career. I mean, every time he touched the ball, it looked like he had yellow bars on FIFA. And in the end, we can all agree that United got absolutely scammed. And on the other end of this, the Arsenal side, it did not get much better. Arsenal got Mkhitaryan, who showed up. He got them a couple assists, maybe even a goal or 2. And then he just started ghosting. He never put together a run of games, he never looked confident, he was never consistent, and he ended up just fading out of the squad. This deal was like both clubs agreed to make their fans suffer more. The next transfer we have is Barcelona buying Philippe Coutinho from Liverpool for £142 million. And I'm not gonna lie, I could genuinely talk about Barcelona for hours about the transfer windows they had from 2017 to 2019. They spent over $400 million on signing 3 flops, Dembele, Coutinho, and Griezmann. It was like their board was actively trying to make them go bankrupt. And eventually they did go bankrupt and they had to let go of Messi, so I guess they ended up succeeding. But anyways, about Coutinho, he was absolutely lighting it up at Liverpool before he joined Barcelona. He was scoring screamers, he was creating crazy chances, and he looked like an absolute magician on the ball. But the second he stepped in the Camp Nou, it was like he lost his Brazilian passport. No flair, no joga bonito, just pure cheeks. Barcelona didn't know where to fit them in his system. Was it on the left wing, the right wing, at the 10, up top? They just didn't have a place for him. And eventually they decided the bench was the best option for him. And when he did play, he played scared, like he was literally terrified of the ball. No confidence or impact. All this money and Barcelona had nothing to show for it. No trophies, no legacy. All they got was pain and memes. But it doesn't just end there. After his shocking spell at Barca, they decide to loan him to Bayern, where he plays his owner club in the Champions League, and scores twice in their worst defeat of all time. Barcelona had literally paid their player to destroy their own team. This will forever go down as one of the funniest signings of all time. Moving on to the last transfer, Romelu Lukaku to Chelsea for over $100 million. As a Chelsea fan, talking about this genuinely just fills me with rage and hate in my heart. I could go on for days. I could write a whole book on why I hate Romelu Lukaku. For context, Chelsea had just won the Champions League. This was the highest point that we've been at in a long time, and the only way to get better was to sign a true top-class striker. And we thought we were going to get that with Romelu Lukaku. The way we were hyping the signing was insane. The return of the king, Big Rom, the redemption arc. As a Chelsea fan, I genuinely thought we were about to win the treble this season. And on his debut against Arsenal at the Emirates, he absolutely delivered, scoring a goal and putting up such a complete performance that we hadn't seen since Diego Costa. For the next month, we were in absolute dreamland. Lukaku was scoring goals, Chelsea were winning. Chelsea were even top of the table. And then it all started going downhill. Players in our squad picked up a couple injuries, and we started going through kind of a rough patch, but we were still at the top of the league, contending for the title. And then it happens. Lukaku drops the interview. The one where he says he wasn't being utilized at Chelsea the right way. The one where he says his heart was still at Inter. After this, the collapse of Chelsea and more importantly Lukaku started. The goals were dried up. The Timberlands came back. And every time he stepped on the pitch, Chelsea fans were sick to their stomachs seeing him. And it was all his fault. This was the biggest waste of £100 million that we have ever seen in life. Yeah, not just football, in life as a whole. To this day, it still makes me sick even thinking of this guy. But luckily, we loaned him out the next season. He went to Inter and sold the whole Champions League final for them. And currently, he's still on Chelsea's books, which is absolutely ridiculous. We should have gotten rid of him a long time ago. This signing, all in all, was an absolute disaster, and it was no one else's fault except the player.